is Winter 14, paper 21. So straight away, first question, simply just type that into your calculator, comes up with this number. They want it in 5 significant figures, so it's just 8.1722. We've rounded this to a 2 because of the 5. Second question, again, a calculator question. If you just type all of these into your calculator, you'll find the decimals of pi, and you can find also what this is as a decimal, and then simply just put them in order, smallest here, largest here, and as you can see, that's the answer. Okay, question 3 is about symmetry. First question, they're looking for the letters that have exactly one line of symmetry, so no more than one. So we can see Z has 2, E1, B1, A1. So they're those 3. R is not symmetrical. Z is the only shape they're asking here for the rotational symmetry of order 2. This means they want to know which shape fits into its own shape exactly twice. And Z is the only one that can do that. You can use tracing paper to work that out. That's also very useful. Okay, question number 4. Cheryl recorded the midday temperatures for 1 week. Here they are in a table. Write down the mode. The mode is the most frequent. We can see -3 is the most frequent. Therefore, the mode is -3. On how many days was the temperature lower than the mode? 1, 2, 3, 4. And -1 is higher than -3, so 4 days. Okay. So without using a calculator, work out quarter plus a sixth. Write down all the steps in your working. Okay, and leaving it in a fraction in its simplest form. Okay, so we need to find out the common denominator. Here, 4 and 6 both go into 12. That's the smallest one. So to get 4 to 12, we times by 3. So we also times the top number by 3. Becomes 3 over 12. Same with 6. To get to 12, we times 6 by 2. So we times also the top number by 2. Then we're able to add these up. 3 plus 2 is 5. And then we have it. The answer is 5 over 12. Number 6. This is a rounding question. So A, round this number to 1 decimal place. So we can cross those out. With 1 decimal place, we've got a 0 and a 7. So we're going to round this 1 up to 7. So it comes to 5.1. And then we're also going to round up to the nearest 10 for number B. So that's going to be, as it's 15, we'll round up to 20, and that's going to be the nearest 10 rather than rounding down. 20. Question number 7 is about percentages. So the population of Dubai at the end of 2012 was 2.1 million. It was predicted to increase at a rate of 6% each year. So first of all, 6% as a decimal is 0.06. Calculate predicted population of Dubai at the end of 2015. So that's 3 years' time. So all we're going to do is times the population of 2012, 2.1. We're going to times this by, we always want to add on the current population plus the increase. So as a percentage or as a decimal, that is 1 total plus the increase 0.06, which, and then also as we're doing this 3 times, we want to do this to the power of 3 because we've got 3 years. So it becomes 2.1 times 1 or plus 1 or 1.06 to the power of 3 comes up to this, and we can round that up to a nice 2.5 million. Okay, question number 8. This again is about currencies. So On a ship, the price of a gift is €24 or $30. What is the difference in price on a day when the exchange rate is €1 equals $1.2378? Give your answer in dollars correct to the nearest cent. Okay, so what we're going to do first is find out in euros. It's going to cost when the exchange rate is this. So we know that €1 is that. So 24 times this, which is dollars, gives us tells us that the gift is going to cost $29.7072 on this specific day. So then we want to find the difference between this day and the original day of $30. So we're just going to do 30 minus 29.7072. That gives us $0.298. And to the nearest cent, that is 0.29. Question number 9. Write down 2.8 times 10 to the power of 2 as an ordinary number. So we can easily know that 10 to the power of 2 is 10 times 10, which was 100. So it's simply 2.8 times 100, which is 280. B, this is going to be given in standard form, so we don't need to worry about doing kind of expanding this too much. All we're going to do is 2.5 times 2, which is 5. And then the indices rule, remember when we're timesing, it's actually a plus for the indices. So we've got 10 to the power of 8 plus times 10 to the power of minus 2. Well, the indices terms, that's 8 plus minus 2, which is minus 6. So it's 5 times 10 to the minus 6. Okay, next. Number 10, solve this equation. Okay, so straight away what I'm going to do is we're going to move this x over to the other side. So we've got x plus 5 equals 7 over 3x. Then what we're going to do is we are going to move this 3 back over here. So we're going to times this side by 3. So it becomes 3x plus 15 equals 7x. Then we're going to move this 3 over, minuses it from this side, 4x. 4x equals 15. So therefore, just divide by 4 over this 15, and x equals 3.75. That's a simple equation, that one. All right, 11a. Same with the indices. When we have a divide, the indices are minus. So this is simply 8 to the power of 8 minus the power of 2, which is x to the power of 6. This is slightly more complex here. As is a bracket, this is now a times within the indices. So first off, we've got this, which is x to the power of 6. And if we do 6 times a third, it becomes x to the power of 2. And also we want to do the reverse of the to the power of a third, which is cube rooting. So that's why we're cube rooting the 27 underneath. And that just simplifies to x squared over 3. Okay, number 12, simultaneous equations. So I've just labeled this as A, equation A, and this as equation B. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to be able to subtract or plus these equations together to remove, for example, one of these terms. So we want to remove the x's so that we can find out what y is, or vice versa, we can remove what the y is to find what x is. So the first thing is we need to find out how we can make this number 0.4 into a 2 as well, so that these can cancel each other out. So by doing that, I can see that 0.4 times 5 equals 2. So what we're going to do is times the whole of equation A by 5. So that's what I've done here. So it becomes 2x minus 25y equals 135. What I've then done is got this equation, which is my new A, minus B. So here we go. This is the new A, and this is B. I've minused them. These cancel out. So we get minus 25.2, y equals 126. And this shows that y equals minus 5. We're going to do exactly the same thing for b, but this time, in order to make 0.2 into 5, so these cancel out, we have to times b by 25. So what I've done here is I've got them and I've times b by 25, which has turned it into 50x plus 5y equals 225. So since we have a minus in a, we're going to plus b to a. So b plus a is going to simply cancel these out so that it becomes 50.4x equals 252, and x also equals 5. And there is the solution to our simultaneous equations. Okay, question 13. Y varies directly with the square root of x plus 5. Now, when y varies directly, all this means is that y equals kx, where x is just this formula. So when we write that out, it equals y equals k plus or minus the square root of x plus 5. The question wants us to find y when x is 11. It's given us y equals 4 when x is minus 1. We're going to use this information to find the value of k. So what we do is we take this equation and we substitute in 4 and minus 1 for y and x, respectively. So all we do is 4 equals k plus or minus the square root of 4. We bring the square root of 4 over and we divide 4 by the square root of 4, which is 2. So it's 4 divided by 2 is k. So k is, remember, plus or minus 2. Now we can go and we can try and find what y is when x equals x equals 11. So when k is plus 2, y equals 2 to the square root of 16, because 11 plus 5 is 16. So y equals 8. When k is minus 2, y equals minus 2 to the square root of 16, which is minus 8. Therefore, y equals plus or minus 8. Okay, 14, vectors. Work out a squared minus 4a. So 4a is simple. All we do is we just times all of these numbers by 4 and put them into this bracket. So that's 4a, done. A squared is a bit more difficult. So it's simple, it's just like any other squares, it's just timesing it by itself. But when we're doing this with vectors, it becomes slightly more complex. So we basically just want to times everything out. So we've got 2 times 2, 8 times 1, 1 times 2, and 4 times 1. And again, over here, 2 times 8, 8 times 4, 1 times 8, 4 times 4. There is a formula for this if you go and look it up in the IGCSE notes. So now we know that, we can just simplify that, and that comes up to 12, 48, 6, and 24. So we know this and we know this, so we can now subtract them, which brings us to this equation, and that simplifies to 12 minus 8, which is 4, 48 minus 32, 16, 6 minus 4 is 2, and 24 minus 16 is 8. And that's the answer. Okay, number 15. You'll need your compass and a ruler for this. It's a bit difficult to do this on the computer. However, I've given it my best shot and I will talk you through how to do it. So, first of all, they want you to do a perpendicular bisector of AC. So this is AC. If you look at the red, this is how I've done it. So I've put my compass on A, and I've drawn this curve with my compass. I've then got C, put it over halfway as well, and I've drawn this arc with my compass. These two meet and intersect, and that is how we draw our perpendicular bisector through those two intersections. It's a 90-degree, and that is where that bisector is. Now, the bisector of the angle ACB, similarly, what I will do is show you how you should do it. Put your compass on C, draw this arc. Once you've done that, firstly on this point, put your compass here, draw an arc, make sure it goes along the arc originally that you've drawn from C. And same again, point here, draw another arc. Again, similar to this, these arcs will meet the intersections, and we are able to draw a line from C all the way through that intersection, like so. The next question wants us to shade in the region inside the triangle, which is nearer to A than C. So A is here, C is up here, so this is nearer to A. And the region also nearer to AC than BC. So therefore, we want it on this side of our bisector angle line, the blue. So it's just this shaded region here. So it's on this side of the A side of the perpendicular bisector and the AC side of the angle bisector. And that's the shaded region they want you to show. Okay, question 16. A helicopter flies from its base B to deliver supplies to 2 oil rigs at C and D. C is 6 kilometers due east of B, and the distance from C to D is 8. D is on a bearing of 120 from B. Yeah. So find the bearing D from C. So this is what we're wanting for. We always measure bearings from the north. So this is the angle we're going for. I've labeled it X. So to find this out, all we need to do is find this angle here, because we know that this is 90 degrees. And we know that in total is 100, this is 360. So X is going to equal 360 minus 90 minus this angle. So in order to work this out, we need to use the sine rule. I've already worked out that this angle is 30 because, again, this is a 90-degree angle. We know that this whole bearing is 120. 120 minus 90 is 30, so that's 30. That allows us to use the sine rule. So we also want to find this angle out so that we can find this angle out. So to find this one, we use this. 6 over sine D equals 8 sine 30. Now, this is a rule that you'll just have to learn, unfortunately. So that turns into 6 sine D equals 16. And as we go on, we find that D equals 22 degrees. So what we can do from here is now work out this angle here by doing, as we know, 180 degrees is the angles in a triangle. So 180 minus 30 minus 22 equals, let's call this y. So y equals this, and this is 128 degrees. So in order to find the answer to the question, all we need to do, now we know this, is x equals 360 minus 90 minus the angle we just found, 128, which is 142. Therefore, the answer is 142 degrees. Okay, next up, this is all about volume. So here is a toy. We've got a cylinder and we've got a hemisphere. So first of all, volume of a cylinder is something that you need to learn. It's pi r squared h. H is height. And they've kindly given you the volume of a sphere. Note that this is the volume of a sphere, not a hemisphere. Therefore, we need to divide all of that by 2 so that we just get the sphere. What we're going to do to find the total volume of this is we're going to find the volume of the cylinder and then the hemisphere and add them together. So, volume of the cylinder, pi times radius, which is 5 squared, times the height, 8, is 628.32. And then we find the volume of the sphere, which is 4 over 3, as they said, pi r cubed. Our radius is also 5. So we've got 4 over 3 pi times 5 cubed. And as I said at the beginning, we're dividing by 2 because this is a hemisphere, not a sphere. So the hemisphere is 261.8. So all we need to do now is add them together, and we get the answer 890.21, which we're just going to keep as 890. Okay, 18, probability. The probability it will rain tomorrow is 0.4 if it rains today. So if it rains today, it will rain tomorrow, probability 0.4. If it doesn't rain today, the probability it will rain tomorrow is 0.2. On Sunday, it rained. Complete the true diagram for Monday and Tuesday. So just so you know, probability always adds up to 100%. So 0.4, we know that the probability of it not raining is therefore 1 minus 0.4, 0.6. So they've done this for you. So we know that if it doesn't rain, if it does not rain, the probability of rain tomorrow is 0.2, 0.2. And then we know that this must be 0.8 because 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8. Find the probability that it rains at least one of the 2 days. Okay, the easiest way to do this is find 1 minus the probability of it never raining on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, so this is the opposite of it raining at least once of the 2 days. So all we have to do there is say never raining. So we go no rain, 0.6, no rain, 0.8. So we're going to times these together because it's an and. So it's 1 minus 0.6 times 0.8, which is 0.52. And that is the probability that it will rain at least one day. Okay, 19. Right. Okay, 2 circles, 1 and 2. I've already drawn on this. So CB is the radius, BD is the radius, AD is also radius, and AC is also the radius. So all of these are the same length. Okay, explain why angle CBD, this one here, is 120 degrees. Well, as all of these lines are 8 centimeters, we know that this makes up 2 equilateral triangles. And we know that equilateral triangles all have the same angles of 60 degrees. Therefore, we can say that this is 2 of the equilateral triangle angles. So 60 plus 60, 120. Okay. Number B, or letter B. For the circle center B, find the area of the sector BCD. So, okay, another equation you will have to learn, unfortunately, is the area of a sector, which is the angle of the sector over 360 times pi times r squared. So the angle of the sector is 120. So it's 120 over 360 times pi times our radius, which is 8 squared, and that comes to 67.02. We'll just put that 67. Find the area of the shaded segment CAD. Okay, so we know that this full area of the circle of the sector is 67. We just worked that out. So all we need to do now is find the area of this triangle and minus it from 67. So again, another triangle formula for you. Half a squared sine b. That gives us the area of a triangle. We know all of these measurements from above. So we can put in half times 8 squared is going to be our a, sine 120. Put that into a calculator to 27.71. We minus it from the overall area to give us this small shaded area, and that works out as 39.3. And find the area of overlap of the 2 circles. So if we just go back up to here, basically what they want is this shaded region here. Sorry, it's a bit messy, but you can see this is where the two circles overlap. Now, we've just worked out, if you can remember just a second ago, we actually just worked out what half of that shaded region is. If you look at this is in fact half of what we want, because the other half is this bit, and that's going to be the other side of the shaded region. So all we need to do is times this answer by 2. And that gives us the area of the overlap of the two circles, which is just 78.6. Okay. Right, next. Here are some equations for us. All right. Find GF2. So first of all, we need to find F2, because then we're going to put that into GX. So first of all, find this function. So we put the 2 in, substitute that into this equation. So it becomes 3 times 2 minus 2, which is 4. Then we put the answer 4 into the G formula, which becomes 2 over 4 plus 1, which is 2 over 5, or 0.4. Question B. Solve gx equals 10. So this is g x, and we're going to put that equals 10. So again, we're just going to play around with this. So what I've done is I've moved x plus 1 over to this side, which becomes 10x plus 10 equals 2. Minus 10 from each side, minus 12 equals x. Minus 12, oh, sorry, that should say 10x. Minus 12 over 10 equals x. So that is, as a decimal, minus 0.8. Okay, simplify. So we're going to simplify this. Basically, what we need to do is, first of all, we need to put 2x into our function. So imagine 2x is just the value of x. So it becomes 3, 2x minus 2. And we're going to do the same here. So x plus 2 is our x value. 3 times x plus 2 minus 2. Again, we're going to just multiply this out, becomes 6x minus 2. And then this becomes 3x plus 6 minus 2. And simplified to its fullest is 3x minus 6. And that is the end of this paper. If you have any questions or if anything was unclear, please comment below and we can hopefully help you out. And have good luck with your exams. Hope it all goes well.